Yo, what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of WrestlePurists Worldwide, episode number 23, I believe. At the moment, we're joined by just Ibu of WrestlePurists, better known as Backup Hangman. Of course, Joe Hulbert, the veteran. Manny the Hooper is having some Wi-Fi difficulties, apparently. Hopefully he pops in. He's supposed to be here, but, it happens, Injuries on the road, it happens, bro, it's a long road. But yeah, we're going to be talking. It's WrestleMania week, man. Obviously, there's a lot going on, so we're gonna kind of we're gonna gloss over it. We're not gonna do like full like previews or anything like that. But
Right.
we're gonna gloss over like the week ahead. WWE Triple H has apparently approved a new WWE World Championship. There's been yet more Punk discourse going on, and yeah, man, we're just gonna talk wrestling for the next hour and 30 or something like that before Raw. But first, Ibu, how you doing?
um
You
I
good?
don't know. I'm okay, I guess. I'm happy to be with the worldwide guys. You know what I mean? It's always a fun 90 minutes of wrestling talk. Uh it's Mania week. I'm looking very forward to the weekend. It's gonna be a lot of fun wrestling. I don't know how I'm gonna watch it all, frankly. I really don't,
Mm.
especially Mania weekend is fun when you don't have a job. You know what I mean? When you have work and you come home, it's like, how the fuck do I watch all of this? But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to watching as much of it as I can. And we'll absolutely check out Supercard of Honor. I'm excited to watch that. And Mania looks to be a fun show. So yeah, man, I'm okay. I'm happy to be here, and I'm happy to get into all the stuff with you guys today, I guess.
Yeah, man, we're gonna get into it all. Joe, veteran,
Mm.
how's the knees, brother?
All right, mate. All right.
The knees.
The paydays help, you know what I mean? But I will say I'm no cynic, but there's going to be some allegations as to why the Hooper's not here today, right? WrestleMania week, and suddenly the internet starts playing up. I mean, does 25 shows a week, and now
I know,
Now does
bro.
he, he
I
glances at the
know.
title and sees new WWE title belt and he says, "Ain't there? It couldn't be me." So
He's not trying
I'm
it.
gonna I'm gonna investigate that some, but nonetheless, always happy to be here. And it is a special week, very very fun week, regardless of how much or how little you're watching. It's cool, man. This is a singular week in the wrestling year, So I'm very very excited for it. And honestly, on our end too, there's a lot of room to do fun stuff for us to create and content and whatever, and do videos and streams. Where it's like you can have a lot of fun with this week because there's so much wrestling, so it's worth making the most of it.
Yeah, man. I love Mania week. I
Yeah.
love it. And all the things that come with it. Obviously you get WrestleMania, then you get all the other shows. It's
Mhm.
like even you can class kind of AEW, Ring of Honor 2.0, whatever you want to call it. That's kind of like a major promotion as well. So they've got stuff going on NXT with WWE, of course, and like the Indies. Obviously, every single year is just it's just a good time. You get people flying in, that you don't get every other time of the year and stuff like that. And there's all the indie shows going on, and yeah, man, it's always a good time. There's always a stacked week coming ahead, and it's just good stuff.
Absolutely.
What do you want to start with, John? I'll throw you the ball.
What do I want to start with?
What do
In
you
terms
want to
of
start
in
with?
terms of Mania week specifically, or just broadly?
Nah, just topics in general, bro.
Well, I actually do think we're going to talk WrestleMania itself inevitably, and I'm looking forward to that because I am excited for the show. But I do think Friday is really interesting, more specifically Supercard of Honor on Friday. And the reason I think it's interesting is because we've now had, after this week, it'll be 5 weeks of Ring of Honor television. And clearly they've got a good house waiting for them. I think they just passed 4,000 tickets today.
Yeah,
And I think the results of this Friday's Supercard show are going to be really, really interesting in terms of what this show is going to be for the next set of tapings and beyond, because to me, there are some matches that you can kind of look at as like, well, this guy seems like he's going to be a full-time Ring of Honor guy, whatever that means at this point in time. And other guys are on Dynamite weekly. You look at the main event, for example. Claudio is in a strange way almost limited in what he can do on AEW TV because he's the Ring of Honor champion. And Eddie quit AEW, so he's a Ring of Honor guy. So you kind of have this interesting thing where I think we're going to find out a lot about what the new Ring of Honor is on Friday. I've enjoyed it a lot thus far, but this first, TV has just been about getting here. This show,
yeah.
I think, is really going to shape what it is full time, and that does intrigue me beyond the fact the card just looks awesome. So that's where I would like to start. What do you make of that, Monty? What do you make of that kind of element of this? The seeing what this promotion is really going to be, this brand's really going to be.
Yeah, I think it'll give it a chance. This big card and kind of like a
Yep.
blow off to these first few TV shows. It'll be interesting to see how they distinguish who's going to be Ring of Honor regulars, who's going to be, finishing up there at Supercard
Mhm.
and go back to kind of like AEW more regular. Is it even going to be distinguished? Or is it
Right.
just going to be, is it just going to be people going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth? I personally would prefer a distinguished roster. I just would.
Too.
It's like you could heat someone up in Ring of Honor, then reintroduce them to the AEW TV audience, etc. And you can, um, when someone's had a long run on TV, you can,
Mhm.
you can keep them working by throwing them on Ring of Honor for a bit to kind of, do whatever you
Yeah.
can kind of do. Like, that's the beauty of Ring of Honor as well for Tony. You can do whatever you want with Ring of Honor. It's on your own streaming service. You're doing pay per
Right.
views. Just fucking, just do some cool shit, basically. But
Mhm.
yeah, the roster element to it is interesting. Like I said, I'd prefer if it was definitely distinguished, but we'll see what Tony decides to do
Yeah.
with it.
Absolutely. Ibu, what you thinking on that front, mate?
Just regarding Supercard of Honor or Ring of Honor
Yeah,
or
kind of Supercard and what it represents, which way you'd prefer they go in terms of full-time Ring of Honor guys or a fluid thing that goes back and forth in terms of
I'll tell
talent
you
when you
what,
look at,
I'll tell you what.
uh,
I'm really into the construction of this card for this show.
yes.
It has the international flavor that I've been asking for because I think if you want to take Ring of Honor in a more alternative direction from AEW, that doesn't mean to me like AEW dark adjacent wrestlers in the undercard. Frankly, I'd like more, guys that you wouldn't see as much on a Dynamite. And so like I think it's actually a bit of slick promoting Tony did where he features Commander on a Dynamite, right, in that ladder
Mhm.
match. And he shows out. And then he features Elio Del Vikingo in a big spotlighted match against Kenny Omega, right? And so now he's created this clamor for these guys. And then turns around and goes, "Hey, you want to see them wrestle again? They're gonna be wrestling on my pay-per-view in Ring of Honor." That's
Mhm.
actually pretty good promoting. It's almost Heyman-esque. That's really cool. Shibata on this card, awesome. Katsuyori Shibata is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. So I'm into this thing, man. Eddie Kingston, Claudio Castagnoli. I was already sold when that match was set up.
Right.
So this card is great. Regarding the Ring of Honor like weekly TV, I'm actually not super into it, to be honest with you. It after a couple weeks, it's like immediately becomes something that I'm not like rushing to watch,
Mhm.
frankly. And by the third show, I was like skipping through to like the key things that I kind of wanted to watch. But it almost reminds me of NXT in its black and gold days, where it's like very solid, logical, simple TV. And then the big shows are like this must see, incredible thing that like the big shows are going to be a show of the year candidate, right? And it's
Mhm.
like the stuff getting there, it's just going to be very logical and solid, and it's going to be a lot of people's cup of tea, right? And it's just very well put together wrestling, but not necessarily, at least for me and from my perspective, it's not like, oh my god, I need to see like Ring of Honor TV.
Right.
But again, this big show looks tremendous. Supercard of Honor, that is. It looks like it's going to be one of the best shows of the year for sure. And I'm very excited for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing how Tony distinguishes Ring of Honor from AEW going forward. And
Mhm.
I hope the direction is what we're getting right now, which is like pieces of international wrestlers.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It's interesting, definitely.
yeah,
Monty, where have you
definitely.
been on the TV, mate, thus far? Just before we move on, I'm intrigued.
Uh, I enjoy obviously the first 2 weeks. I had to kind of catch up, and I did have
Right.
the beauty of the skip button, but I didn't skip that much, and I kind of just enjoyed, studio
Right.
graps, Ring of Honor being back. I'll be honest, I'm still watching it with rose tinted glasses. I love Ring of Honor, the novelty of it
Great
being
squad
back.
too, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the novelty of it being back on a weekly basis, that
Yeah.
still hasn't worn off for me. I love hearing Ian and Caprice commentating every week. Mark Briscoe shows up, Samoa Joe's on
Exactly,
there.
yeah.
You know what I mean? I love it,
Claudio
bro.
and
So
Eddie, yeah, it's good stuff.
it's not perfect, and
Right.
there is some matches that are kind of dangerously close to AEW Dark vibes. I think
Mhm.
that would be pretty fair to say, but I love it, man. It's Studio Graps. It's a promotion that I've loved for many years at this point, and I'm just happy it's here. Like I said, the novelty, honestly, it still hasn't worn off for me.
Yeah,
I love it.
I get it. I'm with you. Yeah, absolutely. Tremendous.
I want to quickly point
Go
out my boy Laz in the comments. He said, "I do miss the production style Ring of Honor had, the difference, the way AEW does things with Dark." And I don't know how to explain. This is probably like a weird complaint, right? But like, and a Mark ass complaint. But I almost wish Ring of Honor looked more bootleg. Like,
Yeah, shitty camera.
I wish it looked a little shittier. You know, like just a little.
Yeah, I'll hear you, man.
Yeah.
100%. That would be like, real
That's like, I have to say that is like, while we all understand that notion, that is like the niche within the niche within the niche, right? That's like another layer. That's another layer within it. Absolutely.
All right. So before we carry on moving on, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, please. And super chat if you're feeling so generous. We've got a few built up, so gonna get to those straight away. All right, Ztopia Productions 499 says, because of Cody, every task achievement, whether dishes or taking out the trash, is followed with a fist pump and saying, for the love of the game, respect. It's Cody week, bro, As said,
Cody week.
It is, brother, Whoa. 199. Happy Cody week, fellas. It is, bro. You know the vibes, You seen the hashtag? Hashtag Cody Rose, hashtag Tribal Chief. We've got the special little emojis on the hashtag now. Big business, bro. Big business. Ztopia Productions again, 199. Appreciate you. Can't wait for the melodrama of Roman and Cody match. I'm with you on that one.
It's gonna be excessive.
Man.
It's gonna be a couple ref.
Do you think Cody's gonna have a counter monologue to Roman? Like, do you think like Roman's just like, there's no better family than my family? And Cody's just like, on the roads.
He might actually, yeah. Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. The kind of match they work does have my interest for sure. Like, I think there's a version of this match that is incredible.
Yeah, I agree.
I think most versions of it are good, but there is definitely one of those goods that is like insane by the end of it, with all of the different wrinkles they could have on that finish.
Moving parts and shit. Yeah, I think something that's interesting to note is, do you know what Cody's favorite match of all time is?
Rock and Hogan, right?
Rock and Hogan. And in my head, I was like,
Dude.
Could they do that? Like, could they do a lockup and Cody shoots them out to the corner and just like goes, like, could they do that?
I don't know. I think that's one of one, man. I don't think you can recreate that. Very unique.
I don't think he's gonna try it, but I don't know, man. Cody is crazy.
He is crazy.
Listen, man. It's Cody week. Okay, we got a loaded one from Darren Walker. I know it's loaded because he sent in the £20. We appreciate him. All right. Just seeing a clip of Jericho in PWG. What a freaking fiasco. I know Liger did it too. He's an idiot too. When legends like Liger and Chris go to indie shows, that shows their job put over talent and not sink to levels of Outlaw Mudshaw.
Have you guys seen you guys haven't seen this year's slow motion PWG spot?
Oh, did Jericho do that this year?
Jericho did the slow motion thing, and it's funny because like they did it, and then so people got mad at it, and then there's the counter people who are like basically like, you're a piece of crap if you think this is bad type of people. And I gotta be honest, I've never liked the PWG slow motion spot at all, and I kind of cringe, to be honest. It's weird. I cringe when certain wrestlers like play the game just to like get over with the kids, but at the same time I say that, but then I love when Sting does like the Orange Cassidy stuff. So I don't know, but I'm not into the slow motion thing. It's not even a matter of like, oh, it's not real, you're protecting the business. No, I'm not even doing that. But this business, you're not doing the right thing for the business. But even with that said, I'm just not into it. But it is what it is.
It's always going to be divisive, bro.
Yeah,
they know that as they're doing it, So yeah. Showtime Spurs $2 says, for fuck's sake, Daz. Fair. Darren Walker responds with £5 super chat. We appreciate him. Joe drops title to Briscoe, and Joe attack starts after he beats Juice. Ooh,
that's interesting. The only problem with that is, Joe lost to Wardlow. He's losing to Briscoe. We all agree on that, and it's like you kind of want Ricky's next feud to be another win, right? So that's always hard, and I that's why I'm always hesitant. Like, we all criticize Tony being cautious, but that is some of the issues you run into, right? Where it's like you need momentums to match sometimes. as a singular program in a vacuum, Joe and Ricky is an awesome direction for sure. I just don't know if necessarily this would be the time. We'll see.
We got AO, $2, being very, very spiteful, calling us marks.
Yeah. AO and
I
we've put on some tremendous matches on those Wednesday shows,
bro.
Yeah.
What happens, bro? Styles make matches.
We don't even call anything, bro.
An increasingly interesting in-ring pairing.
I've heard that. Many have told me that, yes.
But he's calling us marks now, so it doesn't matter.
Builds up the next match, brother.
Yeah, exactly. He's just shooting the angle.
Adding layers.
Yeah.
Jacob Donnelly, $5. Yuta versus Shibata is very intriguing match since I can't imagine Shibata losing to him in Ring of Honor for a period of time. Sounds great.
My stance on this is look, he double crossed New Japan by going into business for himself, and they're not going to let him wrestle because of it. So you might as well just set up shop and just fuck around in Ring of Honor. Why not? Shibata's amazing.
Yeah, I think this is what intrigues me. It's kind of back to the earlier point. It's like I do think there's a chance they get the belts off the Combat Club guys, and just this is the new Ring of Honor, and you move on and let them do the feud with the Elite and so on and so forth. And
right,
Shibata being like the centerpiece of the pure division, quote unquote.
Oh man,
fascinating, right? That's really cool deal. So.
It makes sense too in a way because shout out to Joe Leonard. It makes sense, Joe, because New Japan only wanted him to do like exhibition grappling type matches,
right?
Remember? So it's like pure wrestling, no close fisted punches, no fighting on the outside and all that stuff. Like it almost makes sense to let it be just a Shibata exhibition belt, and he defends it periodically.
By the way, while we're quickly on that, the Combat Club element here, Eddie Kingston winning the belt as Supercard is one of the more unique scenarios I can recall because it both feels like overdue that he win the big one, whatever that means at this point, but it also feels like it could arguably be too soon in this particular story.
I agree.
That's a really weird spot to be in, right? But it feels like that's where we're at. It's strange.
I love Eddie Kingston. I'd love to see him beat Claudio, win the Ring of Honor Championship. This feels like a weird time to do it.
Yeah, it feels like he should lose here, which, again, when I say that, I'm aware that the immediate response to that is he's lost enough, let the man win. I'm with it. I agree. But, like, if you're going to really tell this story, it feels like Claudio should actually kind of, he's heel now. So it's like the real story to me is that Eddie shocks Claudio and has him beat and gets fucked over by something or another, whatever that may be.
Joe, did you see the sit down with Claudio?
I did.
Caprice and
terrific.
Oh, my God.
Ideally,
that was the best Claudio's ever spoken to me.
He's fucking awesome, man. That guy's so great.
I think ideally if we're just singular like this storyline, like, ideally this pay-per-view wouldn't be this weekend. It would be in like a month,
right?
And you could like really flesh out something with the feud and build to it a bit more, rather than like because they planted the seeds when Cesaro Claudio first came in. And obviously the blood and guts, etc., etc. And obviously, everything got put on ice, kind of thing between them two. And obviously now they've picked it up again. So you can't say that it's rushed because obviously the planted seeds earlier on, but there was a very, very big gap. And now it's came to it and it's picked up, and now they're having a world title match. And it's just like, ideally, we'd be doing this pay per view in a month. If we're just talking this, obviously, feud, because, you wouldn't obviously do it next month when Mania week is this week and and everything that comes with that. So, I don't know, man. I'm still fired up for it. They've done as good as they can with it, and
it's Eddie Kingston and Claudio Castagnoli.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's Eddie Kingston.
And I will, for all the talk about promo skills and charisma and everything between, like, Claudio is definitely one of those guys. The cliche of carries himself like a champion. It's a cliche, but when you see that dude, when you see that dude sitting there in that sit down in that face-to-face promo deal, it's like, no, that's still a real thing. And there are still guys who do it better than others and really are natural in that role. And unfortunately, that wasn't something we really see him get a chance to do a lot for much of his career. He had a great career, but this is kind of something we've seen this last year or so. So I'm very happy to see Claudio thriving at this point in his career because he has been terrific now for, good Lord, man, an awful long time. Like most of the last 2 decades,
Yeah, for almost 20 years.
Yeah, incredible wrestler. Absolutely.
But yeah, should we carry on with Mania week?
Sure.
Can do, mate, yeah.
Let's talk Mania. Let's just do Mania. We'll talk the key matches just real quick. Any of you guys have any worries about Roman Reigns possibly returning in the main event?
I don't,
Yes,
but I know Ibu does.
I am a paranoid
Worry is a
man.
strong word.
And AO, Rob, and Chris have successfully concerned trolled me into worrying about this result.
Well,
I don't know anything about betting odds in Vegas, but the people who do say that Cody's the favorite. It would make no sense if Cody lost. But Roman is not at 1,000 days, and he hits 1,000 in like May, and that's a concern. This is very concerning. You know, like what did they do something stupider? But you know, conventional wisdom says Cody's going over. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. I think the only way it doesn't happen is if Roman decides otherwise, very close to the match itself, which would be quite the deal. Let me tell you, that would be something.
That would be so bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that shouldn't happen. iBeast, if you're listening, I'm sorry, but your threat on this was horrible, and Roman by no means should be winning this match to close WrestleMania. Someone said, Ibu, come off the ledge. Cody is winning. No doubt about it. Lock it in.
yeah.
Dude,
I've had
yo, did you see their house show numbers this weekend in Denver for a show with no Roman?
I did not. Was a big house?
It was the biggest house they've drawn in Denver, including TV, in their like last 12 outings. 9K in Denver, Colorado.
9,000. My God, that is a hell of a house.
9,000 for a house show headlined by Cody Rhodes with no Roman Reigns.
I'm really hoping I've said before on here, but I'm gonna be at the Paris house show next month. So I assume I'm gonna get like whoever Cody's first program is.
No,
and
boy.
The other day I guess to punish myself, looked at the potential candidates. my eyes like focused in on Theory, and I was like, "Oh fuck, it's Theory!" I swear I was having like an event doing this. Like, I was really panicked about it, you know. Like, so we shall see. But yeah, the house show business. Cody's red hot, man. I mean, he's got
look. You know what it reminds me of? He's nothing like Bret Hart as a performer, but the idea of like a top guy that like kids look up to, it takes my mind to Bret. Because you know how Bret would walk to the ringside and he'd give the kid the shades, right? Mm-hmm. I just think of that. I think of have you ever seen a commercial where Bret's down the hallway and the kid's like Bret and he turns around and shit? Like that's Cody to me, man.
God, they should remake that.
Yeah, honestly, I think what wrestling needs is just that like here, like as simple as it sounds, like a clear cut designated hero that kids rely on and watch and follow, and they beat the bad guy. As simple as that is, you know. I think you can make a massive moment if Cody just no-sells a Roman attack and just powers up and says fuck off to his offense and gives him a crossroads, you know. But that's just me.
It's definitely going to be more complicated than that, right? It's definitely there's going to be some wrinkles to that finish. Like there's going to be some.
Of course.
If they get there, I still think it's a positive for the company and the industry, honestly. So we'll see.
Yes. Yeah, 100%. What do you guys think of the card overall? What do you think they've done? Yeah, I think they've done. You know, I think they've done well. There's a lot of you know to kind of drop the cliche. There's a lot of long-term storytelling. You know.
Oh my God.
You're into the race stuff, right? With Dominic, right?
Bro, Ubi's on. You know. Right, it's good shit. Like, it's not like popping for Dom. Ironically, a few months ago, bro. This is real fucking wrestling. You know.
I think the program is great in spite of Dominic still being bad. Like it's something I've never seen before.
He's a good shitter heel. You know, he's a good like slimy, annoying punk kid. You know.
I think they realize that he's like a shitter, right? And they said, let's just structure and work around the fact that this is the case and use it to our advantage, you know, which is really unique for like wrestling usually, because they either bury you when they realize you stink or they just keep trying to force it. But with Dominic, like that's part of like everything. Like it's part of the act that he stinks. I think it's been a well-constructed story. This guy, I knew it was going to be something like this. This guy walking up to his mom. When this guy, my man last said if Ray gets a 4-star match at a Dom, he's on the Mount Rushmore of wrestling. Bro, honestly, Rey Mysterio and crowd heat, I'm not going to say it's going to be a 4, but I do think I think he's gonna get something like notable out of Dominic.
Yeah, it'll probably be fun. The only thing is, I think there's a good chance they work it more as like an angle than a match. I think. Like, I don't know if this is going to be worked as like, let's maximize this matchup so much as it is the crowd just getting a chance to see Ray kick the shit out of Dom. You know, like, and they're different things, but I don't think it'll be bad because it's Ray. Like, you know, he doesn't have bad matches.
Joe, have you seen Bischoff versus Stone Cold? No Way Out 03?
I'm not sure I have. I've seen Bischoff and Flair from the night after Starcade, which is a hoot.
That's something else. But no,
Yeah.
Bischoff Austin's return to the WWE, and he just walks in there in like his jean shorts and stomps him out for like 8 minutes.
Yes.
And Jim Ross is like, yeah, oh, kick his ass, kick his ass.
Is that on the show where Hogan and Rock do their like really weird rematch? Is that show? All right, there you go. Okay, I remember now.
So Monty, you know what's the best way to do this? So Legado del Fantasma is going to be with Ray at this match. They're going to accompany, right? I think the best way to lay this out is Ray is kicking Dom's ass. Dom finds a way to slip out of, getting pinned here. Judgment Day gets involved. Santos evens the odds. It gets him and his group over. And then, and then you kind of lead to the finish in that way. So I think there'll be a little bit of twist. I don't know if it's going to be complete straightforward, like he gets his ass whipped. I think Dominic's going to do some type of, ref distraction, low blow thingy or whatever, like to, do that. I do hope Ray wins though.
Is that a scoop as well, or you're dropping, or is that
about
been
Legado?
reported also? Yeah, about Legado being in Ray's corner at the show.
I have no clue if it's been reported, but I am telling you straight up that I know for a fact that they will be with Rey Mysterio.
Putting your name on it.
For all of the analysis of Triple H as a booker, and there's been back and forth in that debate.
Yeah,
this thing is actually his like genuine triumph, right? Like, the bloodline is one thing to get right because, firstly, it feels like there's certain other hands in that we pretty obvious.
There are very notable hands in that.
This Dom thing has been pretty impressive, and unless I'm mistaken, it's all post him taking the book, right? I think.
Yeah.
So
To
feels like his biggest hit, honestly.
Joe, I was telling my boy Kwame about this because he was asking me, like, genuinely. He said, like, what are Triple H's like non-bloodline triumphs, right? And what I told him was, frankly, I think his biggest W is that he turned the Judgment Day, which was like an awful fucking group, into like good TV. And he's done it in a way where like they can be funny when necessary. They can kind of show ass and be like that type of heel group, but they can be vicious and mean. They've gotten over. And it's an act where Rhea Ripley has regained her confidence as a performer. She'll get in the face of a male wrestler. She gave Luke Gallows a riptide. She beat up like Tozawa. She went face to face with Solo Sikoa. So she's now positioned as this really strong, dominant character on the show. Finn Balor is like the ultimate plug-in TV wrestler, and Dominic is the shitter that every babyface gets over by getting their hands on. And so it's like perfect for like 80s style angles where like babyfaces do dynamic things with the guys. It's pretty impressive in that respect. So I would say like he did a good job with this, and with the Ray stuff specifically, it has worked. And part of it also, besides just the booking, is that Ray is just so sympathetic and easy to like.
Would you say, my guess would be that second on the list of like booking triumphs outside of the bloodline would be the Gunther business, right? Now, that's a simpler formula. But, the Sheamus stuff, and like he did, the Gunther thing was trending one way, I think it's fair to say, before he got that gig. And it's certainly...
Hey, I got an idea. Why don't we let Walter wrestle?
Wow.
Ding, ding,
See,
ding, ding, ding,
again, we've talked about this a million times on the show, so we don't have to go over it. But like, this is where... who he was taken over from, like, prepared him for success in some ways. Right? That was like a genuine challenge for the prior regime, So let's have Gunther wrestle good wrestlers in long matches.
Yeah.
Good call, man. Nailed it.
So it's crazy, Joe. Like you did very well. That you literally identified the three big W. Yeah, where it's just Judgment Day, the Guntherverse, and the Bloodline. Like those are the three key, like, consistently successful things happening on the TV that get over, that are good.
I've learned that it helps when you don't watch stuff closely to listen to people that do, rather than listen to other people that don't watch it at all. I've learned that helps. So I'm picking it up as I go.
Yeah. My man Laz in the comments said, how likely is Gunther dropping the title without eating the pin? Very likely. Very likely.
Yeah, I'd say that's very likely as well. But elsewhere on the card, we got a couple showcase matches. We got Big Shane, Braun, and the Street Profits, Alpha Academy, and Viking Raiders. Then in the women's one, we've got
Mm-hmm.
Shotzi and Natty, Liv and Raquel, Ronda and Shayna, and I think there's still yet to be revealed another tag team, maybe tonight.
Hey, Montel,
Raw.
which of those two matches do you think is going to be good?
I think the men's one is probably going to be good. Then the women's one is going to need some. TJ's gonna have to sit down for a minute on that one. Yeah,
Who Tyson Kidd? Yo,
he's gonna have to.
yo, Hunter said,
He's gonna have to produce his ass off. I think. It depends.
yo,
You
yo,
never know. You never know.
they present the lineup to Tyson, right? And he's just like, oh shit.
Nah, I don't know, man. They're all enthusiastic. They're gonna give it a good go.
So-
It's WrestleMania. They're gonna have fun out there. Hopefully, it's not on too late and the match dies. Get them out there early. You know. Yeah, man. Look, Liv's over. They're gonna like her. Ronda and Shayna are gonna get booed. You know,
Monty is
Natty
coping.
and Shotzi and get pops. You know.
It was
You're
supposed to
actively
be.
seeing Monty lie to himself on the air. Like, it's crazy. Like,
I didn't say. Listen, where did I lie?
Well,
Liv Morgan's over. You know.
yeah.
Liv's gonna get pops. You know.
Carmella and Chelsea were originally expected for the last spot, right? But Carmella's hurt. Is that what everyone's talking about? I see there's been like thrown out there a little bit.
There's something up with Carmella. She's linking up with someone else now. I can't remember the name, but she's with someone else.
Piper.
Oh, cool.
Mm-hmm.
Wasn't they doing something with Nikki and Candice?
Say it again.
Nikki and Candice were doing something on TV, right? As a team?
I'll tell you what. There was an early suggestion to do Johnny Gargano and Candice versus Eric Young and Nikki Cross, and like 2 weeks in, like Regal was just like, "This isn't gonna get over."
Yeah. Anyway. Triple Threat Intercontinental Championship match, which we just mentioned. Drew, Sheamus, Gunther. That's going to be great, of course. Hell in a Cell, Edge versus Finn Balor. That's an interesting one.
This is funny, right? So yesterday we did our preview on Late Night Grin, and I was like being really positive about this match. Like, this might be good. Like, I'm optimistic. And then Oracle reminded me that it's Demon Finn, and it just all struck me how what a disaster. This could be fucking nuts, man. Like, Edge's take on the Demon is very frightening for me. I'm sorry.
Here's the thing. So this is one of those matches where if they just overthink it, it'll be bad. But if they don't, it'll be good. It's weird because I honestly think it's gonna be fun, right? Because the Elimination Chamber tag, the Elimination Chamber tag was really fun. I thought.
Agreed.
And even though the I Quit match is super divisive, I was into just the spirit and idea of that match and how it's old man Edge, the gunslinger, getting his revenge on these guys, and these bastards fucking decapitated his wife and shit. I think if it taps into that melodramatic, chaotic, fun energy into a Hell in a Cell space, and they don't make it too goddamn long.
They've already done that though.
Yeah, but you do it in a cage, you know?
Yeah, I think I don't know, man. The Demon and Edge, WrestleMania, Hell in a Cell. I think done.
Michael Cole. Look, Edge is gonna go to the corner, right? He's gonna pull his hair back, and then getting ready for the spear. And Edge and not Edge. Michael Cole's gonna be like, he's going to that place, that twisted, dark place.
Length, as you said, the length of this is it's key. I also think placement. There may not be a match on these two nights to realize more on placement than this. I think if this goes deep in one of the nights, it will struggle a little bit, a lot more than if it goes early. If it goes early, people love Edge, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in terms of this, is going to need heat. This is
match 3 on a night 2, I would say.
Yeah, I think that's a lot better than it being match 6. I think that could go a lot differently, but it'll probably be good. Hopefully, it'll be good.
And then what was the other one? The 3-way. The IC 3-way is going to be like a WWE Match of the Year candidate, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Of course. Well,
I have some insight on that, Monty. Drew McIntyre privately believes that he straight up told Triple H, he was like, "You better be careful where you put this match on the show because nothing's following it." And his personal intention is to have the hardest hitting WWE match of all time. Now, whether they end up doing that, I don't know, but that's his desire and intent.
Can you imagine Randy Orton over here in that conversation?
Look at this. This has been, you know what?
Oh my God, I just saw.
Yeah, that's what you get, bro. Just talking and talking. Your slander stays on screen, you know. Ricky499, Ibu, you're going to be in LA for Mania weekend. I got to say, I use your hotel in Santa Monica. Can't wait.
Usual. Listen, I was offered to go to LA, not doing it, and no, thank you, Ricky. I will not be there.
You're going to be there. Alexia499, Aussie Open for ROH Tag Champs for real. Shout out Alexia always, part of the WrestlePurists fam. Yeah, man, Aussie Open. I won't be mad at it. Absolutely not.
It's going to be interesting, the result of that one. I think you can talk yourself in all 5 options, which is a pretty cool deal.
And any of those teams could win.
I lean Top Flight, but I am for Aussie Open. Winning anything is cool with me, so yeah, I'm with it.
Heart Editing 199 says, keep up the good work, dudes.
Thank you so much.
You as well. Shout out Heart Editing always. One of our mods, I think. I don't know if he still is, but I think he is. He's always in our Discord. I think the link is in the description, so I'll get up in there. Andrew, the Giant, £5. Here for Joe to preview Charlotte's Mania match. Listen, man.
I'll say
she's in.
That's a good one. Look, man. Regarding the women, Monty, I'll say this: like the TV building for most of these women's matches has not been very good at all. But from a wrestling standpoint, the title matches both could be like 4 and up. And with Charlotte, it's weird and it's tricky. You know what I mean? With Charlotte, but we've seen with our own eyes her and Rhea Ripley have an amazing match.
Yes,
we have seen this. So
yeah, I hear you, man. It's just it's Charlotte, isn't it?
Yeah, I think the match is going to be good. And I don't want to go because I did this last night. I felt bad about it because the Charlotte thing is like
it's weird.
It's just not real, is it? Like it's just not like she's like a 14-time champ, and every WrestleMania we do this conversation. We go, well, the match will be good, and we just like shrug at it. Like you should have so much. I'm sorry, like, I don't. Okay, look, I'm gonna have to do this again. All right, here's the deal. So I watched the segment on Friday, and I'm not. Again, let me be clear. I'm not trying to be like spiteful here or anything, but Charlotte has been like a top act on TV for around 7 years now, 8 years maybe. There was like 10 people saying what, and she immediately pointed out and made more of them chant what, and then returned immediately to her promo. Like her last 2 lines were like, "I have insecurity," so and then she just repeated it and carried on. And it's like, this is just not. This is one of the weirdest wrestling careers ever. When she's around, she's the champ, and people don't care. She then comes back and wins another title, and people remember they don't care after initially being excited again. It's like, I feel like I've done this. I've been doing podcasts now for 3 years, and I feel like I've had this conversation about Charlotte Flair with myself only 15 times over. I'm losing my mind, bro. Every time we talk about Pep, it's like, yeah, no one cares about his Charlotte Flair match. He'll probably be good, though. Like, how many of her matches do we get like invested in or care about? Or as a character? I don't know, man. I'm losing my mind here. She's the only wrestler. She's the only wrestler to have more title reigns than sold T-shirts. I've said that before. I'm on record. I stick to it. It's true. It's a thing. I'm telling you. Go on. My bad.
That was amazing. And I have the same experience with Charlotte. But what makes it like a psyop for me, right, is you watch Charlotte on TV talk, and you're like, fuck me. And then they set up the match, and you're like, I don't care. And then you get to the pay-per-view, and you're like, whatever. And then the match happens, and for me, a lot of the times, I'm like, wow, that was great. And then I get this weird guilt where I'm like, Charlotte is very good. Then you get back to TV, and she cuts this promo where you're like, I can't tell if you're a babyface or heel. And like,
right. And
that's the funniest part about it. She's cutting a promo, and she's allegedly a babyface right now, right? The fans are doing what? And she's like, "Are you wanting me? Are you wanting me right
it's
now?"
So weird, bro. Like, and again, I want to be clear. Like, a lot of what I'm critiquing here is the usage, more than her, because we all agree when her matches are big time, she delivers for the most part, right? Which is all you can do. But it's like, while I have issues with her character work, it's like the way that they've just decided she will always be the champion, and she is our like in-house GOAT, whether they want her to be or not. I think has done, in a lot of ways, I think has limited how much people can enjoy her. And I know that we're on the inside here, and to the matches, they just say she's the GOAT and they move on. But man, I think it's been a real shame. The last few years, especially, it's like there's never anything interesting about her beyond she just has the belt or she's wrestling for it.
I have a question for you guys.
That's all it is, bro.
Yeah, it's a shame.
What is the best storyline with Charlotte like ever?
Probably the Becky stuff, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And
I
this
think
is kind
this,
of where like this we're debating whether this match is going to main event, and it's like, I think Rhea's awesome, and I think the match is going to be good, but like this clearly isn't the main event. But we have to debate it because this is
Hell
what
no.
has always been the case with Charlotte. You know, it's like
Yeah.
we've done the. I mean, look, let's be real. The Mania main event in 2019, she clearly shouldn't have been involved in, but she just was because that was what they decided, right? And
Oh man.
it's like a really extreme case of what Orton's been for the longest time, where it's like they've just decided. Now, I love Orton's work, so I'm very much someone who will look the other way on that. So, like, she's not the only candidate.
I will take Randy Orton over Charlotte.
Me too.
10 times out of 10.
Me too. But like, you get what I'm saying, though, right? Like, they made their mind up on Randy, and they've done, but they've done like an accelerated version with Charlotte, where it's like 7 years. She wins 2 belts every fucking year. Like, it's insane, man.
The thing with Charlotte is just like you said, they decided she's going to be the queen, and that's the character that it's been, and that's all it's been. It's been the same character, literally the same character all this time. She's just the Queen Charlotte Flair who wins belts, and it's just nothing feels fresh, and like her character in general, like it lacks depth. There's nothing for people to connect with, you know. Like you can still be a champion and still have some depth that people connect with, you know. Where Charlotte doesn't. Yeah, like Charlotte's character just doesn't have that. So, like you said, like she's had more title reigns and sold T-shirts, but she isn't the sort of wrestler that you see many people like standing and stuff online because she just doesn't. There's not a lot there to connect with. Although she is very good, and maybe if she did, do more instead of Queen with belt, then I drop the belt and then I leave. Like, don't leave this time. Like this time, don't leave. Because people seem to think already that she might be leaving after.
That's a great
not
point,
leaving, but like a lot of people do seem to think that she's just gonna do what she does after she drops this belt. There's people that believe that she's just gonna go away again, even though she's not even been back for 3 months yet.
It's important to note too, Monty. Like, there's clearly a story you can tell with her in terms of adding depth. And it's like her career is interesting in the sense that she's trying to live up to the legacy of Ric Flair. Like, that is interesting. But they refuse to do it with any depth or any detail, any nuance. And I don't think that's her fault. Like, I think she could be better at character work and at promos, but that's a lot of wrestlers can be. Like, I think she's just been, in their attempt to smash her over, I think they've like really removed a lot of things that could be interesting about her, But
anyway. You make a good point about like you don't see a lot of people standing Charlotte, and that's like very interesting to me. That, like you go on social
there's
media,
nothing to connect with.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. I see girls on social media connecting with like lower end like women's talent on the roster than Charlotte. So
super chat. Custodian Braun Pillman Jr. aka American Okada 199. I'm more of a hero than Cody is. I appreciate the super chat, but I don't know about all that, brother. Not on this week. Not on this great week. Mouse fan 84 499. Need to see Roman winning just for the post WrestlePurist burial of Ibu by the Impurist boys. Also, Emmy versus Athena on Thursday is going to be awesome. Emmy versus Athena will be awesome.
That's real wrestling.
Yeah, that's tremendous.
Ibu will just delete his account for a week.
Look, I'm going to tell you guys, if Cody loses and you're looking up at Backup Hangman to see how I react to it, you're not going to find anything because I will deactivate.
Fair. It's not happening anyway. Darren Walker, £10 super chat, appreciate it. Will you guys watch Impact New Japan show this week? Jeff Cobb versus Moose, People versus Tanahashi, Kenta versus Suzuki, and women's 4-way with Masha Diana versus Gazelle versus Miyu. Yeah, man. What did I call it again? The multiverse of matches.
Multiverse.
This year it's Multiverse United, I think. I think this year.
Really?
Before it was Multiverse of Matches.
I heard the show was on Thursday, and so because it's on
Killer about Alexander, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it.
I will say it is. How do I put this? I mean, there's a lot of super chats here, but it's pretty pricey. I saw that. I said, well, hold on a minute. It's not carried away. I mean, there's a lot of shit on Fight Plus, and that is like singular on its own, and it's pretty pricey. On Thursday, I'll probably decide I'm going to get it anyway because there's like 100 super chats tonight. Someone will send me a nice.
Yuya Uemura is on the pre-show of that event with Gabriel Kidd, and I don't know how much time that's going to get, but I'm really excited for that. I'm really into Yuya Uemura, and I would like to see both men back in Japan.
Worth noting, Gabriel Kidd and Eddie are doing their rematch. Did you see that? They've announced that's booked. Him and Kidd
Oh, I
and
love that
Kingston
match.
too. That match
Where
was
is that?
unbelievable. It's in. I think it's on the Philly New Japan Pape. You know, the New Japan of America.
Oh, I did see that. That was great.
Yeah.
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 And if you haven't seen Eddie Kingston versus Gabriel Kidd,
Yeah.
number 1 on New Japan Strong, I think they're doing it on. Good shit,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, it
Good
was New
shit.
Japan Strong. Yeah.
Very
Bro,
good
that
shit.
kid is for real, man.
He is. He's got a real grit to
Listen,
his
bro.
style. Really
People,
fun.
wrestlers from the Midlands.
Well, take it easy, pal. All right.
Listen, bro.
Just take it easy.
Listen.
I've seen Pete Dunne's punches, all right? Take it easy. Take it
Yeah,
easy.
listen, Tyler Bate, brother.
You know what, Joe? And I'm not even like between Pete Dunne and Tyler. Like I think Tyler's way better, but his little TV deal with Gunther last Friday, Monty. I was seeing some things, Monty. I was seeing some glimpses. It's just,
Good.
Listen,
He's
Don's
good.
good.
I'm just
Don's
playing around.
good.
No, he's good. He just has. It's the punch spot they used to do. You remember him and Bate used to always that like knockout blow spot. They'd both throw punches at each other, and they'd do that. It always looked fucking terrible.
Are you talking about the one where like they kind of punch forward?
Yeah,
Like-
and it's like people used to mess around a bit, and I've simply weaponized that to be mean to Monty. So I apologize. Pete Dunne is a really good wrestler.
Ain't on the 0121, bro. It's just crazy stuff, brother.
Exactly.
Willie J, $5. Appreciate you. What is Theory Cena happening? Cena clearly thinks nothing of Theory. First match of WrestleMania, so we can leave right after. Needed something better for Cena. Ibu's disappeared. He's that disgusted, did it?
Fair.
I don't know where he's gone. My guess would be that his phone died. Maybe. Ibu's an old man,
I still think Ibu's best ever WrestlePurists podcast line, and he says a lot of great stuff on here, like in terms of analysis, but I still think his best one was when he claimed that he had 5 mics when we questioned his microphone.
He'll be back, that old fart. Mash Fan 84 $1.99. Bailey Tanner is the biggest match of Bailey's career. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
It's got to be one of them.
What do you think of that Styles clash? Like, because Bailey is more versatile than he gets credit for. So I'm really intrigued.
Yeah, I was about
what
to
they come up
say.
with.
Yeah. Bailey can work pretty much anyone. So, and Tanner's Tanner, like he's going to be over as fuck as well. So it's just
Yeah, interesting.
It'll be a good time, man. It'll be a good time.
Absolutely.
5 $5. I need Saudi Prince to push for that Roman 1,000 day reign in Saudi Arabia. So it's just, spiteful,
Monty, how are you going to handle it on the WrestlePurists account if Roman wins? Like, what's the tweet you send? How do you because you're very good at staying neutral on those. Do you just tweet, go fuck yourself?
I'm just going to tweet We the Ones. And,
wow, you just switch up publicly. Oh, fair enough.
Well, right. I've been known to drop We the Ones a few times. It's can't be done, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, Darren Walker, £5 super chat again. Appreciate it very much. Got a feeling Charlotte loses to Rhea, and next night on Raw turns heel on Bianca. Charlotte not likable to be a babyface. And this is the situation we always get into with Charlotte. She's a babyface, and people are like, hold on. I don't think that plays out, to be honest. But yeah, it's it's probably just going to be same old. I think Charlotte probably loses and goes away again. That seems to be the feeling as well. So.
It could be anything from even like something as simple as just giving her a faction, just to change her dynamic.
Do you think she's above it though? Don't she? So
I don't know. I'm not sure about that. Just any I've said to you before. We had our jokes about Tiffany Stratton, and I was like, "Fuck it, like do that deal," where she's like
do
next
a tag,
up.
But
anything.
She's above in her mind. She definitely, I'd say, thinks that she's above like tag division and all that sort of stuff.
I don't know.
It's so what can you do? A lot of Charlotte Flair talk, man. Jesus, Brian Buster $4.99. No, it's still going, bro. $4.99 super chat. Appreciate it. Remember when Charlotte told the world that Andrade has a huge hog?
I actually don't remember that, but I absolutely believe it happened.
It's real graps, bro. That's what it is.
Nothing wrong with that.
Vinny Van Gogh, $5. Every time I hear Charlotte speak, it makes me want to cut my other ear off. That's very, very spiteful.
I feel I've encouraged this,
there's definitely worse out there. Oh, come on, we don't get carried away on this show. We're professionals, aren't we?
I've heard that about us. Yeah, apparently so. professionals, the two of us sitting on our own on a 4-man podcast.
Bro, we're the professionals, you know. Joe,
There you
this is
go.
this is this is a real throwback. If any of
It
the
is,
people were
mate.
here when we had, like 200 subscribers or some shit, the
Yeah.
early days, you've seen this screen before.
Yeah,
You've seen me and Joe, talking shop. It's what we do, bro.
I agree. I'm with you, mate.
What we
I'm with
do,
you.
brother. It's what we do. It's what we do.
Can
Um,
I get into the match I'm most looking forward to on Mania, Money? Can we get into that now? Finally, I've been
go
waiting.
on, go on.
I need to see this Usos Steen Jericho business, bro. I'm telling you, I am so excited for this match. Maybe more, and this is a big statement for me because
No,
I
he's
love
back.
King. The big man is back.
The big man is back.
I love King. I love Joe, and I love Mike Briscoe. So this is a big statement for me. I think the Usos match may be the match I'm most excited for all week. Genuinely, I cannot wait for this deal. I have really high hopes because the Usos' speciality is those finishing stretches, and I think they're going to come up with some crazy shit for WrestleMania. I think this finish is going to be like 10 minutes long. The Heat. By the end of the finish, you won't even remember the Heat. Fuck it. They're just going to do a 15-minute finish. But genuinely, as someone I've been a fan of the Usos for quite some time, I really do think this is a super cool thing. Like, this is the crowning moment of their careers. And I hope they stick the landing. The match is great.
I hope it main events.
I do believe them to be the team in WWE history. I've debated this elsewhere previously, and I get it's divisive, but like that's my take and has been for a while. This has been their best run as an act, even if not necessarily in ring. And man, I think the heat for this is going to be incredible. And I'm so glad this is where I love the 2-night deal, because we're not going to have a situation where this goes on after 5 hours. Like if it main events, it's got a 3-hour show, believe it, and the pit will still be hot. So I'm really, really excited. I think this is going to be super special. And I think it's one of the biggest tag title matches in WrestleMania history. It has to be, right? The TLC match is different.
It's the biggest. 100%.
I think so, yeah. I mean, the TLC thing's different, right? Because it's like the appeal there is more raw in just the sense of it's chaos, and people love those teams, obviously.
Yeah, definitely.
This is big time tag team wrestling in a way that I'm not sure WrestleMania has ever seen before, and that's pretty cool for someone who loves that part of this medium. So it's the match I'm most looking forward to.
From a story standpoint, it's the best tag feud in the promotion's history.
Yeah.
It's going to be the biggest. Best will be tough because TLC 2 is incredible. Right. But yeah, I'm pretty in line with you, Joe. And you know what I've been thinking about? Because I've kind of given into like the social media standpoint of the Usos, where they kind of go like, oh, they start slow and this and that. But you know what I was thinking about recently? So you know how you point out that they're great at closing stretches, right?
Mm-hmm.
Why is it that like when the Usos have like the long heat section, it's like this really bad thing? But like if you go back historically to really well praised wrestling, and not to compare these guys to like the All Japan guys, but like you go back to those guys' matches that are like 45 minutes, those things don't get really nuts until about halfway through.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not seen as like an issue. And I wonder if it's because like, I guess AEW has gotten all of us more used to like brisker fast food wrestling. I don't know what it is, but it's just something I was thinking about.
I think, and I say this as a fan of theirs, I do think they can be very without focus. Yeah, meandering is a better word for it. Thank you. And I think they can be unfocused in that regard, and they're very seldom going to work a specific body part. I do say that adds substance to the match. They just kind of fill their time, and that is a genuine flaw of theirs. I believe that to be the case, but I do think they are so great at finishes and finishing stretches more specifically that like generally crowds love their matches, even if it's not a 5-star match and instead it's a 4-star match. A 4-star match is still pretty fucking cool, and I think like they're great at TVs. They have not had many opportunities to have a 20 to 25 minute multi-segment classic in that regard, where it's like double heat. I think this should be that. I think they're going to get double heat here, and they're going to build to the big Sammy hot tag at the end there. And I'm really excited, man. I think the ceiling on this is higher. I think the floor is pretty high too. Hopefully the crowd is as hot as I believe they will be, because that will define how high it goes.
It's the biggest and best storyline in the company. So I do think it's going to have heat, even like on these TVs now, right? Where they're like just doing, like they've already done the reunion with KO and Sammy. They've already done it, right? And even after the fact, like, the fans are just so hot for just them on TV, building with the Usos. So I don't think heat will be an issue for them specifically.
Hopefully so. I think we're probably safe on that front, but you never know, right, until you see it. So hopefully they're
Yeah.
rocking for this.
My prediction on this match is that like it's going to at least be good, and it wouldn't shock me. Like it genuinely wouldn't shock me if it's like really really good, like great, you know. So yeah.
Yeah, man, it'll be it's one of the big matches of the weekend, 100% in terms of like fan investment. You know, it could be. You could argue it's number one. You know, but yeah, I think they're gonna kill it. I love the Usos. You know, people say what they want. You know, it's only people online anyway. So you can either focus. You can either focus when people say shit online. You can either focus in on it and you know, fight it and quote tweet each other into oblivion, or you can just simply enjoy the wrestlers you like. And if they're over in the building, what the fuck are you worrying about? You know.
It's the same way, to be clear, if a Charlotte Flair fan watched what I just said, their response should absolutely be just, who cares? Like, it's just back and forth opinions. It ultimately doesn't matter, but it's like the Usos are not a perfect team. I get it. But I think when all is said and done, I think people look back on their work in this particular promotion and be like, that was pretty special what they did there. Like they've been one of the top two teams in that company for
people are so numb
almost
to
10 years.
longevity, bro. No.
Yes, because everyone,
because everyone's so used to like WWE being the only place people can be. So like when someone has like a 10-year run somewhere, it feels very run of the mill, and it's not. If you look at the history of wrestling, it's just not. You know.
Right.
So for a tag team like the Usos to be like what year are they on now on the main roster?
Yeah, so their first,
know?
I'd say their first great match was with Seth and Roman, which was the summer of 2013. And they came up before that, but that's their first.
I mean, 10 years of being good.
Yeah.
It's been 10 years of being good to great, you know.
Special for sure.
So you don't see that. You never used to see that, whereas now you see it a lot more because WWE have been the only company. So it's like if you was a big wrestler, you'd just be at WWE for 10, 15, 20 years. That's just how it went. But yeah, man, it's very special what they've managed to achieve over the past 10 years.
And this
100%.
is their peak too, Monty. This is the most popular they've ever been. I think their work in 2017 was better in a lot of ways in ring. Jimmy certainly was.
Yeah.
But like as an act, this is the run that will be remembered. It just is.
This is it, bro. This is it, man.
Yeah, it's really cool. And also, let's not forget, Sami Zayn has been the story of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Last year he was wrestling Johnny Knoxville, which was a tremendous comedy match, but he's certainly climbed an awful lot since then. Kevin Owens main evented with Steve Austin last year and is like in with a real chance of main event and another night one. And what a story he's been for the longest time. So it's just a lot to like about this match.
It's pretty remarkable. It's pretty remarkable how they haven't won a bunch of singles world titles, right? But it is remarkable how successful Steen and Generico are in WWE, doing it because they're doing it in a way that, like, if you would have shown Ring of Honor fans how they are now, like 10 years ago, they're all completely different performers, and it's just fascinating because there's been so many guys from the same backgrounds as them that go to WWE and they don't make it, and oftentimes it's the promotion's fault. But like they figured out how to play, they basically figured out how to speak Vince's language and essentially kind of like tread water and stay afloat by doing that. And now with the new regime, it's almost like they're being rewarded for being able to do that. So it's just interesting to note.
Yeah, man. And the people love them, and that's the important thing,
You ain't wrong, brother.
Yeah, bro, they love them. So
absolutely, that segment when Sammy and Kevin, they hugged. Look, man, I get I get why there's so much cynicism. We talk about wrestling. Like that was the reaction to that was peak wrestling. People threw their arms out in the air. It's tremendous, fabulous stuff.
Trust the process. 34 $9.99. Fucking hell, boo. You know what I mean? Running from the money. I'm ducking his wages. Trust the process. 44. Okay, he's back again. Jesus.
Ibu, man, you gotta be careful. We're gonna cut these super chats 2 ways if you ain't careful here, brother. Man, he's out.
Trust the process. 34 $9.99. Do you think the Punk AEW situation is beyond repair? How much weight do you think the locker room opinions will have on TK and his decision? Current percentage chance you think Punk returns this year? Okay, so we'll just use this to get into the
Yes.
subject of CM Punk. You know, we'll talk about the discourse that's been going on the past day, because that's pretty much all it is. Like, even like Wade's report was like discoursey, you know, like it was just kind of like gossip, you know,
Yeah.
proper
He's good at
classic dirt sheet stuff, you know. Um, yeah, man, I like Wade as well. It's like one thing that pops me is like whenever like Wade would say something about the AEW locker room not being amazing or something, and we'd aggregate it and we'd tweet the quote, and people would go, huh, Wade, who cares about Wade? And it's like, bro,
Yeah.
Wade's been around forever, and that. But like when Wade says something that they want to go with, people aren't like that in my mentions, or it just always pops me up. People pick and choose so much with Wade, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was on a podcast, I believe, like yesterday or the day before or this morning, sometime recently, and he was just talking about like how Punk's got heat with all of AEW's top stars. Around about a third to half of their top stars probably wouldn't work with Punk, other than like one or two of them and a few of the young guys. And yeah, basically, he just really painted a picture that it's not, the sentiment is that the locker room doesn't want Punk back, and he's got all this heat with all these people, and he's like, some of it is obvious, you know, Jericho, Hangman, you know, we know that, but a lot of it is just we don't know what's going on, you know. It's an interesting situation because there's still a lot of people that think he's coming back. I'm still of the belief that he'll come back. It's just how they figure it out. I think it's time for Tony to be a fucking boss, bro. Like, that's just what it is. It's like you gotta make these decisions, and whether you want to sit all the people down in one room or individually or something, but you've got to make your decisions, and it's time to do it because, you know, if Sean's report about people close to Punk thinking that he'll be cleared to wrestle by like in January, so he's been cleared now for like a month or two. He ain't just going to sit home and be a good boy. And we've started to see that now, you know. He ain't just going to sit home and shut up while, like, all these reports are going around about him and fucking, you know, Jericho's burying him on podcast and he's seeing this. And like, every now and again, he is going to bark. And that's what we saw with the Instagram post. And it's like, is he innocent in this whole situation? Absolutely not. Everyone has made faults in this situation. Every single person involved, you know. But Tony's the boss. You know, it's Tony's company. Tony pays the wages. So Tony needs to put his foot down, make his decisions, hash everything out. And if Punk's leaving, do it. You know what I mean? Like, get rid of him. And if he's coming back, get everyone on the same page regarding him coming back, whether that's he doesn't work with certain people or you have those tough conversations and everyone kisses and makes up, whatever it is, but make your decision because he clearly needs to. And shit like Punk calling Jericho a stooge and criticising Moxley's ideas and etc. etc. Like I said, he's not just going to sit home and be a good boy. Like, he's just not going to do that. That's not Punk. Like, that's just not what he is. And I'm not saying that's okay either. Like I said, everyone in this situation has made faults, but it's Tony's company, so fucking sort it out, brother. You know. That's where I'm at with it. I know I ranted a little bit there, but
no, I thought it was very well said. I thought you covered most ground pretty well, actually. Listen, Tony Khan loves CM Punk. CM Punk, contrary to popular belief, he actually loves AEW and he loves wrestling and he would like to continue wrestling. This isn't even breaking news. Sean Ross Sapp kind of put this out there that him and Tony are trying to work out a way to come back. The fact of the matter is, there's people who would not like that to happen, and I think rather than playing the dirt sheet game and playing games with, I talk to this guy and he puts out this, and this guy comes out and talks and puts this out. I honestly think that we need to just settle this once and for all and definitively figure out what we're doing forward. And like you said, Monty, the way to do that is to just sit everyone down and talk. Because mudslinging through Instagram posts and reporting, it's just, what does it accomplish?
So it's so cheap, bro. It makes the company just look like a circus as well.
And it dominates too much of the conversation when you're trying to move forward. And I know a lot of people want to harp on Punk because of the Instagram thing, but at the end of the day, it's like, if you don't talk to any reporters, and Punk does not talk to reporters, and there's things being said about you that in your mind, some of it is not true. at the end of the day, it is hard, you know what I mean, to just kind of read all of that for like 8 months and just say nothing. And so, look, he had a lapse in judgment, and he did what he did on Instagram. And frankly, I'm not even saying, look, I think he just needs to sit down with who he needs to sit down with, and then they just say what they have to say to each other. And you know, that's what he wants to do too, actually. So I think it's on Tony at this point now to fully assume leadership. Tell everybody to please just refrain from the small bickering through the reports, and to just have a concrete meeting. Even if the meeting is everybody telling Punk to his face, we don't want to work with you and we'd like you to leave. That's at least a definitive
Yeah,
result.
100%, bro.
That's at least a
100%.
definitive result that puts this to bed, and you can move forward as a promotion.
Mhm.
Because the middle ground of him just sitting there and it's, you don't know, and some guys are taking jabs, it's just not productive.
Not at all. Joe, I know you're very tired of Punk discourse,
I'm
but
done. Yeah, I can't. I mean, look, I think he's an incredible professional wrestler, and if he came back to on Wednesday,
absolutely.
I'd be delighted to see him, and I'd happily cover all of the professional wrestling he would produce from there. But I just the problem with it is there's not really any developments. It's the discourse developing, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and there's so much to it that is like. I was going to say borderline embarrassing, but I think a lot of it is just actively embarrassing in multiple ways, and some of it is in our world of like media.
Mm-hmm.
It bums me out on multiple levels. Just the way that almost all parties are like, and again, not just talking about the people involved in stuff, about the people that are covering the story and the way that it goes back and forth. And it's like, I don't know, man. Maybe there was a point in my life where I've been like popping for the messiness, or whatever the fuck, the drama. It's like, I'm at now where
It's not even fun anymore.
No, because it's like, I think there's so much
it's really
wrestling to
sad.
talk about. There's so much wrestling to talk about. And I've reached a point with this where it's like, it will be what it will be, man. Like, they need to figure this out for themselves, because we clearly only know certain parts of the story from both sides.
Mm-hmm.
And while we've all given our take on that 7 months ago almost, it's like what's been said is, and I don't mean that as a anyone who wants to give their opinion on it, God bless. I'm not knocking anyone who's still interested in the story, but for me personally, I haven't got anything left to offer on it, man. It's just like, if he comes back, I'd love to see him wrestle. If not, that isn't my call, and whatever,
Exactly. Which is why at the end of the day, it's really on Tony to just be like, yo, guys, enough with the fucking. Yeah. You report this, you get this guy to report that. Just please, like, literally the only way to put it to bed is to just get everybody in the room, and otherwise this is just exhausting and debilitating, and takes away from what AEW is doing on screen.
Yeah,
and so I'm tired of it. I'm sure most other fans are tired of it.
It's like, even if he doesn't want to get everyone in a room, bro, just make your fucking decision and talk to them all individually. Right. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Sit Jericho back down. Sit Jericho down and be like, listen, you prick. I'm paying you 7 figures. And if I want my biggest star to come back and be on my television show, I'm fucking doing it, bro. Yeah. And that's his right to do that as the billionaire owner of All Elite Wrestling. Mm-hmm. So again, it's just, and the same way, vice versa, if he talks to everyone individually and everyone fucking despises Punk and they're all going to walk out and it'll ruin the company, then he needs to sit Punk down and be like, listen, you fucking nutcase. Fucking, you've caused a bunch of shit. You've caused a bunch of shit. They're not accepting that. I don't quite agree with it, but it's going to fuck up my company, so you need to fuck off. Go and enjoy wrestling Stone Cold on WrestleMania 40, Like, make a decision, bro. Going back to it, that's what we've all said, make your fucking decision.
Let's all move on. Yeah, exactly.
Let's get cooking, But yeah, man, we'll see what it is. Fuck it. Moving on. Trust the process again. Trust the process 34, $4.99 super chat. Appreciate ya. Ibu, you can only choose one of these, and the other won't happen. Punk returns to AEW, or Cody wins the WWE title.
That's an awesome super chat.
He drops to his knees.
Wow.
That's tough. That is tough. I think you'd have to go with Punk though, personally.
CM Punk returns to AEW.
You'd have to.
Yeah.
Because you still get Cody, Like, he doesn't die.
it's Cody in non-title programs, and I'm gonna go with Punk.
Yeah. At least you still get a bit of both, then, you know?
Yeah.
Instead of just getting all of one and not any of the other, you know?
It's funny how intertwined they've become out of nowhere in my personal fandom, because Rhodes is my favorite guy in the Fed and Punk is my favorite guy in AEW, and they were cooking Monty at the same time last spring. Cody
Oh, and then when they both went down, bro, I
yeah,
thought
I was gonna
I
say,
was nearly done with this great sport, bro.
bro,
You know?
they got hurt. They got hurt in the same week, and then Danielson gets a concussion, and I was like, "Wow, is wrestling finished?" like,
Yeah.
because dude, we lost Punk, Danielson, Cody, and Mercedes in the same week. I was like, "All right, bro." Like, all right.
Cool. Yeah. That was a tough one. Good super chat though. Appreciate you. Yeah, man. That's the Punk discourse. That's we've talked Mania. We've talked Ring of Honor Supercard.
Can we
I'm
get
gonna.
into some? Oh, wait, what did you have in mind?
I'm just gonna. We'll spend just a couple of minutes talking about this WWE belt. You know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, apparently it's been reported by WrestleVotes through Give Me Sport. That little chuckle. Yeah, Triple H has apparently approved the new design of a new WWE World Championship belt. It's pretty much ready to go. It could apparently it's at the where's the actual quote? Basically, it's ready to the point where they could introduce it like tonight if they wanted to.
Right.
But because the way he worded it, it's like it's not gonna happen tonight. But like if they could, like it's ready to go. Basically, let me find the exact quote. The exact quote is There's a new belt. I don't know for sure if it's getting a new name. I don't know if one of the titles is going away, but there's a new belt that WWE has made and the decision makers have approved. Like, if they wanted to introduce it on TV tomorrow, they could. Those boxes are all checked. So,
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, I assume it will intertwine with Cody's win in some way or another, and they'll, whichever which way they go with that, whether it is that's his belt or that's the belt that's going to go to the other brand. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too fired up about this because we haven't seen it.
And it could be a big W.
Yeah, even we talked about it before, like it could just be another W, to different color. But if it is a return to a professional wrestling title with like a plate and the things that we once expected from said thing and still do elsewhere, that'd be very cool as a nerd for that kind of stuff. Like, I think the way they have it now is obviously great for like marketing and all that cool stuff. But as a wrestling fan, who cares, right? Like, it's so toy-like to me. So it'd be cool if it was like an awesome wrestling belt again, but until I see it, I'm not going to do a big triumph here because that thing could look like anything. I have no idea, so we shall see. But a cool deal nonetheless.
I'm just replying to Bam in the chat. All right. Okay. Rob. So Paragraph, of course, one of the Impurist guys, every Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Shout out them always. $2 super chat. This in response to Ibu, I believe. You told me your fave Fed guy was Marseille. Sad face. Is that true?
No.
I had heard that, unfortunately, but I got to say,
Yeah, we've it's been going around a few group chats.
I am not a disliker of the maximum male models, but no, Marseille is not my favorite World Wrestling Federation wrestler.
Really? All right. So Bam said with a $2 super chat, appreciate him always. Shout out Bam. What do you expect from the podcast tomorrow? So he was talking about Renee's podcast where he's having she's having John Moxley on the show. She said, I think it was in a Facebook post that when she was promoting the podcast for tomorrow, that Moxley's going to address, Punk's tweeted and posted and deleted Instagram story and kind of that situation and stuff. And obviously he's going to be very open since Renee is his wife, and who knows how far this is going to go. He could get rolling and it could get ugly, He could be very reserved and very nonchalant about it. You never know what you're going to get with Mox in these sort of scenarios. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. I think a lot of people are going to be listening very closely. So we'll see, man. It's definitely going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, I'm intrigued. Those podcasts are a good time. My guess is it'll be kind of fleeting and Mox will just kind of shrug at it and be like, whatever, you know. That's my guess. There is definitely a scenario where, as you said, he gets rolling, you know, so to speak. And if so, that could be rather entertaining, if nothing else. So it'll be interesting. I mean, it's certainly got people talking today, and I'm certain that will mean people are talking tomorrow too. So it'll be fun to see what happens.
Ibu, I know as the big Punk fan, well, we're all Punk fans, let's be honest, but like, as the big Punk fan, I know you're pretty worried about how sideways this could go for the Punk camp.
I am interested in listening to this. I'll be all over it. But what I hope is that I hope what doesn't come out of this is like more confusion, consternation, conflict, complication. I hope this isn't something that just, you know, makes the flames even greater, if that makes any sense, you know. Like what I would hope is that what doesn't come out of this is like the shitstorm that people are kind of craving. You can tell people like almost bloodthirsty for this to just be like, you know what I mean? Like Mox is completely dogging him and like exposing things and da 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 da. And like, I mean, if that's how Mox feels, that's how Mox feels. You know, he can say whatever the hell he wants. But personally, I hope we learn a lot from it, but I hope also it's not something that's like counterproductive, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes, I guess. Maz84 says, was Kingston shooting on Pong during a Provo $2 super chat? Appreciate you.
No.
Nah. It's part of Eddie's charm, and he makes you ask yourself, you know. That's
Great
part of
promo,
Eddie's
by the
charm.
way. Incredible. The moment where it feels like Eddie is simply venting about 2005 in a wrestling ring live on TNT is one of the great AEW moments. You know, when he's like, he's just listing off guys like Joe, Homicide. He's just like yelling about, you know, yesteryear independent wrestling. It's just tremendous. But yeah, I don't believe so.
Yeah, 100% one of the great AEW segments. 100%.
Yes.
Muddy's King 199. Mox has nothing to lose with what he says. Wow, indeed. I guess that is partly true, you know?
Yeah.
Well, we'll see. It could get interesting. It could get ugly, you know? What else can we quickly talk about?
I want to get into just a little bit of Japanese wrestling talk. So, Joseph Holbert.
Yes.
Have you seen Jake Lee versus Kaito Kiyomiya?
I have not. I was actively told to avoid it. That's what I did.
See, I was too, and so when I was
so you watched it.
When I was told to avoid it, I went to Wrestle Universe and played the match. Monty, have you seen this?
I've not.
Are you aware that Kaito Kiyomiya is going on a learning excursion with Keiji Muto to the World Wrestling Federation this weekend?
I'm aware of that. Yes.
You're not. Do you guys genuinely believe that Kaito Kiyomiya is accompanying Keiji Muto to the Hall of Fame to learn?
What are you suggesting here?
What I'm suggesting is Keiji Muto needed a schmuck to drive him around the United States. He needed someone to carry his bags. And he looked at Kaito and said, look, this place is fucked. Come with me to the States. We'll network. I'll get you to meet Paul Levesque and William Regal. And we'll see what happens there. My genuine, like, I'm like 95% certain on this. And I think, honestly, if you think it's genuinely just as they said, learning excursion, I honestly think you're like naive for anybody that like they're telling themselves that.
If that is the case, Jake Lee being the guy that beat him is fucking hilarious.
It's like nasty. It stinks.
Insane. That's very bad.
Nasty.
Yeah.
Noah has done Kaito so dirty. Like,
yeah.
It's definitely interesting to think about because obviously, like with Regal being back, like scouting and stuff with WWE, having a look at talent, touching up talent, you know, like getting in touch and doing all that sort of stuff. It always makes it more interesting when it comes to these kind of talents because when AEW was first started, when it came to like Puro talents and that, they kind of had a free run at it, you know?
Yes.
now with Regal, he's gonna have his eye on it and stuff like that. And you hear little rumors floating around. Some of them don't ever make the timeline, or the reports and that about like certain wrestlers that you hear WWE might be interested in, and you pop for the most part because you're like, why the fuck, the why
Yes.
WWE be interested in this random Puro guy, But then it's more interesting when you get to more of the big hitters like Kiyomiya.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see which one, because I think they will get a big Puro guy, who's not Jay White as well. Like,
Right.
obviously he's he cut his teeth in Japan and stuff like that, but I think they are going to get some like a Japanese native, like big, not huge like Okada or anything, but
Right.
I think
A heavy hitter.
they'll get someone like, it could be Kiyomiya, who knows? It could be like a Yoya or something, or
Yeah.
you know what I mean, like someone who would be classed as like a strong signing. Like Yoya again isn't like a huge name, but
He's a crazy prospect.
he would be a very good get, the same way like Dragon Lee has been. Like he's not the biggest name, but when people saw that he got signed, people took notice because it's a strong signing. He's young, he's very talented, and who knows what they can do with him if they get it right.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see who they bring in over the next, let's say that's over the next, this year, 2023. So, Kiyomiya, I guess it's something to watch, especially
It,
when you're planting seeds like at Ibu.
yes. I can. You know what? I'll give you guys a little more. I'll give you guys a little more. Joe made this inquisitive face, like, oh, what's happening here? Look, at the beginning of the year, one of the things Regal kind of put his foot down on, he assessed what talents have recently done tryouts quietly from the independent scene, because WWE does secret tryouts that like don't really get out to the public. We usually find out who tried out like way after the fact, right? And Regal's stance was just like, what is the purpose of trying out and acquiring like mid-level to lower end independent talent? He basically was like, it's just a waste of time. And so, for all intents and purposes, it was like a no shitters rule. And his whole thing was like, I'm more into high end S tier international wrestlers being acquired to our promotion. His stance was like high end international guys and NIL. Anybody else can fuck off. And the names that were thrown out when he said this was Jay White and Kota Ibushi. And that's not to say that these guys are coming at all, but it's just the mindset of like recruiting, right? And so I'll tell you this: Kaito's contract expires in January, right? And he's going on this excursion with Keiji Muto. If you guys remember, I broke on this very show months ago that WWE wanted to do stuff with Muto. They wanted him for the Rumble, and that he was going to be in the Hall of Fame. And now we see that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. Were there some underhanded little deals happening? I don't know. Is Kaito walking out of this Mania weekend with an NXT contract? No. But this is not just the learning excursion that it's being advertised as, and the
That's so
trajectory of
pure, isn't it? The learning excursion, going WrestleMania for the weekend.
It's pure Puro, and it's Pete KG Muto also. I think this is his way of going, listen, young boy, I beat you a lot in the last year and a half. My bad. Noah's gates are gonna go way down while I'm gone. Get the fuck out of here. Go get an American paycheck, kid. So,
I mean, I think the Regal philosophy that you just laid out, I think is almost impossible to argue with, right? Like, I mean, almost. I mean, that was a thing that they got really bad at in the late 2010s, I would say, when it was just like
scrubs.
everyone. Yeah, it's like there's a place for these guys, but it isn't in that company where the way they try and present their wrestlers.
Like, what's the point? Like, what's the point, dude? They just started picking up any dude and they would throw him on a 205 live, and it's just like, what's the purpose of this guy's employment long term, really? You know what I mean? It's just bodies. It's bodies, and then they ended up just being in a cut list a year later. And so, yeah, like, you should sign people that every signing should be like, I can visualize this guy in an upper tier scene on the main roster. Otherwise, what's the point? You're wasting everybody's time.
They also signed so many, like, the term, I mean, it's hard to say this, but like, you know, the
It's
modern
jitters.
independent guy, right? Well, fair,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, but like, if you sign so many of the same mold to it, like undercuts what made some of those guys, the elite guys of that type, like stand out previously. You know, like,
Yeah.
you know, when a guy, like an independent guy would come in and it'd be like, they stood out because there was all these kind of body guys surrounding them, whatever it may be, or like pure athletes that wasn't traditional wrestlers, and they would have that kind of that outlier element. And it's like, at one point, NXT and 205 Live, especially 205 Live when it was at the PC, became like just like this host of like like bowler spin-offs, you know?
Boys.
yeah,
Bowler
boys,
spin-off.
yeah, like guys who got eliminated from bowler in round 1 or something. Like it did, man. I swear there was a while there.
What was
And look,
the purpose of signing Jake Atlas? Like, really, what was the point?
and there
What was the point of signing Blake Christian
good for all the guys who got paid,
and Anthony Green?
It got excessive. It got really
What are
crazy.
we doing here?
Yeah, really crazy.
To the people in the chat, yes, Io Sky will be facing Becky Lynch tonight on Raw.
Cool. It's a good match. Yeah.
Trust the Process 34 again with the $4.99. Appreciate it. In a post Bloodline WWE, do you think Heyman will still have an on-screen role?
Good question.
That is a good question. I don't know.
I do get the sense that the post Mania thing is going to be Heyman like directing from whatever they do tonight. Those two, I think that might be something he does in short term, but in long term, that is a really interesting one. I think they may have him off for a little bit just to let people kind of miss him, and then inevitably, I feel like someone's going to look in his direction and be like, "Paul, we need you out there cutting promos, man. You're like you can fill a lot of time for us on a Raw." So I think he will, but you may have a break there in the middle. I think
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure. We'll see. I guess that's all we can do, you know. Jeremy Ross, of course, WrestlePurists, head writer, man of the Tuesday show, Don't Go Live, you know, big in the business, shouting out Jay Lee. Yeah, man, I think we've covered what we need to cover. I mean, we can quickly fly over NXT Stand and Deliver. Ibu, I know you're a big fan of the main event. You know, two talents that we've both been watching for a minute now. The natural big main event of this past era of NXT. You know, Melo versus Bron Breakker. Most assume this will be Melo's crowning moment. Bron Breakker, we assume, will be moving on to bigger and better things. And yeah, man, this is like their first, you know, like chapter closer, you know, or whatever you want to call it. But yeah, big match for the NXT universe, I guess. And main event of Stand and Deliver. Where you at with it? You're fired up for it? Do you think they're gonna deliver?
I'm actually cautious about it in the sense that look, Triple H is going to be watching this one, and that's not something you could say for a lot of NXT actually right now. He doesn't watch a lot of it. He's going to be watching this one, and they're going to be in front of 7,000 people, and for the sake of their livelihoods, as dramatic as it sounds, this needs to be special. To be honest, if it's just pedestrian, it does nothing for either guy. This needs to be notably good. It needs to, and even beyond match quality, you need to see in this match. You need to be able to visualize people that are viable wrestlers on the main roster. And Braun and Melo were the most pushed guys from the 2.0 generation, and I believe in them as prospects. I've seen both guys show flashes of being really, really special, and so I hope this match is great. And I think it has a chance to do it, but it really is on them and the producers to put together something that's notable here. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Again, 7,000 people. It's the biggest thing here. And the thing I'm looking the most forward to on this show is Dragon Lee's debut. He's going to be in his 5-way with Axiom, Wesley, JD McDonough, and Ilya Dragunov. And on paper, that match looks like pretty killer. So I'm curious if he can make himself a WWE star in one night, which I think he could actually. I think he's going to get over really big in that show.
It's just my thing with Dragon Lee making himself a star in one night. I think he'll get reactions and do very well in the match. But in terms of like, there's 4 other really good wrestlers in it.
I don't love that, I have to say. So, I feel like spotlighting him in a singles, I don't know.
You prefer a singles match, right?
I would, yeah, but I'm also biased because I'm not like any kind of multi-man match,
Well.
I've got to a point where I just like throw my hands up. You know,
Yeah. I'm not a multi-man. It's crazy. When I was a kid, I loved them. I was like, oh, it means nonstop action, nonstop spots. Like, oh, let's go. And now I'm all curmudgeon-y about it. Like even a triple threat, I'm just like,
it's because the formula is so like defined at this point. You're just plugging guys in. You know, like you're not. It feels like you're not working with a clean slate. It's like you know what this match is going to be. It's just the specific offense in between each spot.
Now, in this case, I can do 5-man if it's like I told you this before. Multi-mans, I can live with if it's like the X Division style multi-man. You know what I mean? Which is what this is going to be. When it's like 3 normal, regular singles wrestlers, and you're like, let's do John Moxley, Chris Jericho, and CM Punk. It's like, why? You know, like it's just. So yeah, I see what you're saying though. Like Dragon Lee, you'd like to see him in a spotlighted singles thing.
He'll shine though. He'll be fine. His offense is spectacular.
They're all gonna do crazy stuff. To be honest, it'll be WWE's best version of PWG cosplay this year. So I am looking forward to that. So that's it. And then one last thing, Johnny Gargano needs to. He's having an unsanctioned match with Waller on this show, and he is still a star in the NXT setting, and he kind of needs to like have a really good showing where he's really over on this show to be able to carry that momentum over to the next Raw. I even spoke with him directly, and I kind of told him how like think of it almost as like the momentum of a really good takeover match following you to your Raw call up. You know what I mean? Like where like you'd have the great takeover match, and then you're cheered in that same exact building on the Raw because of they saw you at takeover. I was saying that with him, and he's gonna go for it, and we'll see what happens. We'll see. We'll see if Joe's face is killing.
He's gonna go for it. He's a classic.
He's gonna go for it.
He's gonna go for it.
He's gonna go for it. You know?
Good luck to him. Good luck.
Yeah, shout out him, man. Hopefully, after
luck,
when we get the clean slate after Mania weekend, and Ciampa's back, and hopefully we can get some focus on Gargano and get him really going, because he hasn't got going. Like he hasn't completely flopped at all. He's just kind of plateaued like the whole time.
It's to be clear, folks. The reason I'm grinning is more the idea of like this being opposite Grayson Waller was more the part that was like fascinating to me. But I'm with the idea, folks. I'm not being mean spirited here.
But yeah, let's start winding down. We've got the last few super chats that we'll answer real quick, and we'll get out of here, man. Okay.
Sure.
Match 184, 199 says, Okada, Little Broad Kaito all the way to NXT, LOL. Very spiteful. And it's still yet to happen, brother. We're speculating here on the WrestlePurists Worldwide show.
He's under contract till January.
Yeah, man, he ain't going nowhere right now. Glick Foley, $4.99. Appreciate it. Can you see WWE ever doing a Forbidden Door type show? And if so, what would be your 1-2 dream matches to book? I don't think that's ever going to be happening.
It's never happening.
I'm going to steal the cliche and say Omega versus Reigns.
I mean, Bloodline Elite is like an insane visual, like doing the trios.
Yeah, crazy graphic.
That's probably the way I would actually go. Beyond that, I'm trying to think of a cool one that we can. Who can Gunter wrestle?
Danielson.
There you go. We'll do that. Yeah. Also, for myself and the Oracle of Wrestling, we would like Sheamus and Eddie Kingston to go on second. I know he's Ring of Honor. I don't care. Let us have that. They can go on second. Give him 10 minutes. He'll be fine. But yeah, it would be great if it happened, but it's not, unfortunately.
And final super chat, unless we've had any more. I don't think we have. Okay. Glick Foley again. Appreciate you, brother. $4.99. WrestlePurists Mondays is the best WrestlePurist show of the week. Good agenda-free discourse. Keep it up, fellas. Prayers emoji. Appreciate you.
Very heartwarming.
Always do.
Appreciate it.
WrestlePurist is a mixed bag, man. That's what it's always meant to be. So it's like, we've got different flavors for different tastes. If you're into the this. And you've got this, If you like your Dynamite review, which is a bit of a mix of everything, we do a bit of we do the actual review, but we also fuck around a lot, and people come in, and it's a bit of we just catch a vibe, and Pure Rose on Tuesdays with Parker. That again is another different vibe.
Yep.
Then we've got Unpurist, which is insane, which is we've got different flavors going on, so. if this is the flavour for you, we appreciate it. But we have a really great audience, and people seem to turn out for most of our shows. We see a lot of the same names in the live chat all the time, and we just appreciate it, man.
I think it speaks to where the channel's at right now, that we offer so much variety that there are different answers from people on what their favorite show is. I like that. I like that there's people who are like, I'm a worldwide guy, or I'm a dumb guy live guy, or I'm a non-purist guy. It means that
At least on Wednesday, sorry to cut you off, Ibu. Mouse 84, 199. Joe and
Telling you, man.
AO underrated
very
combo.
underrated.
It is.
We don't
It's
call
important
anything.
listening.
We go out there, I grab a hold, and away we go. It's easy, man. It's easy. The people are rocking. It's a good time. Wednesdays. Join us.
It's Steve Austin, 1998, stepping into a ring with 1992 Rick Rude, and it's like, whoa, like this is good. Like, okay.
Good shit, man.
Just slow it down, brother.
we appreciate all the support that we get on these things, man. Just us talking shit about wrestling. It's still something, We've had like 160, 180 people throughout this show. It's like we're just talking shit,
Like the video.
Yeah, man, like the video, of course. We always appreciate that very much, and it does help us, get those views after we finish the live. So please like it if you're still hanging around and haven't done so yet. It only takes 2 seconds to log in and do so if you haven't done it yet. Subscribe if you haven't already, but I know most of you have because we've got that great audience. We appreciate you very much. We've appreciated all the super chats. Plugs. Let me think before we get out of here. Of course, don't go live tomorrow. Wednesday, we're going to do our pre-Dynamite show. Thursday, obviously, the Dynamite review. Friday on Purist, we're probably going to be doing a lot of coverage over Mania weekend as well. So Saturday, we'll do like a Ring of Honor review and a Mania preview or something, Something, yeah, we'll just preview Mania, Ring of Honor. Just basically going live pretty much every day this week,
Right.
It's Mania week, bro. We love it. And
I'll see you guys. I'll see the audience on Saturday this week. I'll see you guys Saturday.
Yeah, man. Ibu. Yeah, he's missing the town on Thursday, brother.
Missing the town on Thursday. Yeah.
Gonna have to call in some big guns. I've already made.
I'm going on a learning excursion.
I see super chat opportunities, folks. I'll be there. Get me on the card. I'll be there.
He's there, bro. But yeah, man, we'll be back tomorrow. First and foremost, we don't go live. Obviously, this has been WrestlePurists Worldwide with the usual suspects minus Manny. We will be disciplining him the way that we need to. We're going to be having some strong words, but we appreciate like, subscribe, super chats. We've all been appreciated, and we'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.